The great hall of the imperial palace was silent. No one dared to breathe too loudly as Emperor Day sat on his massive throne. His cold eyes looked down at his daughter who knelt before him. Princess Hana kept her head bowed. Her black armor reflected the blue light from the tall windows. The golden collar around her neck glowed softly. "Rise, daughter," Emperor Day said. Hana stood up in one smooth motion. Her face showed no emotion. She had been trained since birth to hide her feelings. The Emperor did not allow weakness in his family. "The humans continue to resist us." "Emperor," Day said. His voice echoed in the hall. "3 of our fleets have been defeated. This cannot stand." Hana nodded. "Yes, father." The Emperor pressed a button on his throne. A large screen appeared in the air. It showed a man in a torn uniform. He had short black hair and a strong jaw. Despite being in chains, he stood tall. "This is Captain Minho of Earth's Defense Forces," the Emperor said. "He is the reason for our defeats. His battle plans have cost us thousands of ships and warriors." Hana studied the human. He was smaller than most of the species in the galaxy. Humans were not known for their strength, yet this one had caused so much trouble. "The other leaders are watching us closely," the Emperor continued. "They think if humans can resist us, perhaps they can too." He stood up from his throne and walked down to Hana. "You will break this human. Show everyone what happens to those who defy the Dominion." "How shall I break him, father?" Hana asked. "Any way you wish. But I want it done in 3 days. Then, you will execute him on a live broadcast to all worlds." The Emperor touched her golden collar. "You have never failed me before. Do not start now." Hana felt the familiar cold feeling spread from her collar through her body. The neural connection between the collar and her brain tightened. It was a reminder that she too was under the Emperor's control. "I will not fail," she said. The prison cells were deep beneath the palace. Hana walked past rows of aliens from different planets. Most backed away when they saw her. The Princess of the Dominion was known across the galaxy as the Emperor's perfect weapon. Some said she had killed more rebels than any army. 2 guards stood outside the last cell. They saluted and moved aside. Hana pressed her hand to the scanner, and the energy field disappeared. Captain Minho sat on a simple bed. His hands were bound with energy cuffs. When he looked up, Hana expected to see fear. All prisoners feared her. Instead, his dark eyes were calm. "Captain Minho," she said, "I am Princess Hana." "I know who you are," he replied. His voice was steady. "Your reputation travels far." Hana circled him slowly. "Then you know why I am here." "To break me." He watched her move. "Many have tried." Something about his calmness bothered Hana. Prisoners usually begged or threatened or cried. This human did none of these things. "Others were not me," she said. She pressed a button on her wrist and the cell changed. The walls became screens showing Earth from space. "Your planet is beautiful, blue and green, so different from most worlds. It is worth protecting," Minho said. "It is small, weak, like your people." Hana stopped in front of him. "The Dominion has ruled over 1,000 worlds for 10,000 years. Yet you think you can stand against us?" Minho looked at the images of Earth. "We've only been among the stars for 100 years. Give us time." Hana was surprised by his answer. Not fear, not anger, but a simple statement of fact, as if the human believed they would someday be equals. "You will never get that time," she said. "Your resistance ends with you. When I am done, you will beg to tell me all Earth's secrets. Then you will die and your people will submit to the Emperor." For the first time, Minho smiled. It was small but real. "Is that what happened to you, Princess?" Hana froze. "What? Did you submit? Or were you never given a choice?" His eyes moved to her golden collar. Anger flashed through Hana. She grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the ground with one hand. Her enhanced strength made it easy. "You know nothing of me," she hissed. Minho didn't fight. Even as he struggled to breathe, his eyes stayed locked on hers. Not with hate, but with something else, something Hana had never seen before. She dropped him suddenly. He fell to his knees, coughing. "Tomorrow we begin," she said coldly. "Prepare yourself, Captain." As she turned to leave, he spoke again. "We are not so different, you and I." Hana paused at the doorway but didn't look back. "We are nothing alike. I am a princess of the greatest empire in history. You are a prisoner about to die. We both serve something larger than ourselves," Minho said. "The difference is, I chose my path." Hana walked out without answering. The energy field snapped back into place behind her. In her private chambers, Hana stood before a large window. The capital city spread out below, its lights shining in the night. Thousands of ships moved between the tall buildings. The glory of the Dominion was on display as it had been for millennia. She touched her golden collar. It had been placed around her neck on her 5th birthday. A great honor, her father had said. The mark of the royal family. What he hadn't told her then was that it also connected directly to her brain. It could cause pain if she disobeyed. It could even end her life if the Emperor wished it. "Computer," she said. "Show me records of Earth." The air in front of her, filled with images and text. Earth was a small planet in a quiet part of the galaxy. Humans had only recently developed space travel. They should have been easy to conquer, like hundreds of other worlds before them. Yet they fought back. Led by people like Captain Minho, they had won battles no one expected them to win. They used strange tactics, unpredictable moves. They adapted, quickly. Hana studied Minho's file. Born in a place called Seoul, trained as a pilot before becoming a tactician, known for thinking differently than other commanders. His last battle had destroyed an entire Dominion fleet while losing only a few ships. The door to her chamber opened, and Emperor Day walked in. Hana immediately knelt. "Why are you studying the human?" he asked sharply. "To understand how best to break him, father," Hana replied. "Know your enemy." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "He is not your enemy, he is your assignment." He touched a control on his wrist. Instantly, pain shot through Hana's collar into her body. She fell forward, teeth clenched to stop from screaming. The agony was everywhere, burning through her nerves, then it stopped. Hana stayed on the floor, breathing hard. "Do not forget who you are," the Emperor said. "You are my weapon, my perfect creation. You do not need to understand the human. You need to break him." "Yes, father," Hana whispered. After he left, she slowly stood up. Her hands were shaking. She looked at the image of Captain Minho still floating in the air. For the first time in her life, Princess Hana of the Dominion felt something strange inside her mind. A question she had never allowed herself to ask before. What if the human was right? Hana entered the interrogation room early the next morning. She had not slept well. The human's words kept playing in her mind. She shook her head to clear it. She could not afford to be weak now. The room was white and empty, except for 2 chairs. Captain Minho was already there, sitting with his hands still bound. He looked up when she entered. "Good morning, Princess," he said, as if they were meeting for breakfast instead of an interrogation. Hana did not reply. She sat down across from him and touched a panel on her wrist. A screen appeared between them showing maps of Earth's defense systems. "These are incomplete," she said. "You will tell me the rest." Minho looked at the maps calmly. "Those are old systems. They changed after your last attack." "Then tell me the new ones." "No." Hana had expected this. No prisoner gave up easily. She pressed another button on her wrist. The air in the room became colder, much colder. In seconds, frost began to form on the walls. "Humans are weak against extreme temperatures," she said. "Your skin freezes easily." Minho's breath came out in white clouds. His body began to shiver, but his eyes stayed on hers. "Cold," he said through chattering teeth, "is something we know well on Earth. Parts of our world freeze for months each year. We adapt." Hana increased the cold. The temperature dropped further. Minho's lips turned blue, but he did not speak. After 30 minutes, Hana stopped the cold. She had seen stronger aliens break in less time. She changed tactics. "Your fleet, at Jupiter," she said. "How did you defeat Commander Keel? He had 3 times your ships." Minho smiled despite his shivering. "We used your own ships against you." "Explain." "Your ships communicate on 5 main frequencies. We blocked 4 and sent false orders on the 5th. Half your fleet fired on the other half before they realized what was happening." Hana narrowed her eyes. The human was telling the truth, but there must be more to it. "That would not work. Our systems have safeguards." "Your systems were designed by people who never lose," Minho said. "They didn't plan for failure." His words bothered her again. The Dominion did not plan for failure because failure was not allowed. Just like she was not allowed to fail her father. She tried new methods. Heat that made the air waver. Sounds that hurt human ears. Lights that confused human eyes. Through it all, Minho answered some questions but refused others. He never begged. Never broke. After hours, Hana stopped. She stood up and paced the room. "Why do you resist?" she asked. "You must know Earth will fall eventually. The Dominion has never been defeated." "Everything falls eventually," Minho said quietly. "Even empires." Hana turned to him sharply. "The Dominion has ruled for 10,000 years. And before that? Was there nothing before your empire?" Hana opened her mouth, then closed it. She had never thought about what came before. History lessons only spoke of Dominion glory, never its beginning. "On Earth," Minho continued, "we have a long history of empires rising and falling. Romans, Mongols, British, Americans, Chinese. Each thought they would rule forever. None did. Humans are young and foolish," Hana said. "The galaxy is not like your small world. People are people wherever they live," Minho said, "even among the stars." This conversation was not going as planned. Hana needed to regain control. She touched her wrist panel again and a small drone floated into the room. It carried a tray with food and water. "Eat," she ordered. "We will continue tomorrow." Minho looked at the food. "Will you eat with me?" The question surprised her. "Why would I do that? On Earth, sharing food builds trust, and I have questions for you too. This is not an exchange. You are my prisoner." Minho nodded toward her golden collar. "And who do you belong to, princess?" Anger flashed through Hana. She slammed her hand on the table. "You go too far, human." "Do I?" His voice stayed calm. "That collar, does it hurt when you disobey?" Hana's hand moved to her collar without thinking. How did he know? No one outside the royal family knew what the collars really did. At that moment, pain shot through her body. She gasped and fell to one knee. The collar was burning against her skin. Her father was watching. Through the pain, she saw Minho lean forward with concern on his face. Not fear, not satisfaction at her pain. Concern. The pain stopped as suddenly as it had started. Hana stood up, her legs shaking slightly. "You will break tomorrow," she said coldly, trying to hide her weakness. "Everyone breaks eventually." She turned to leave, but his voice stopped her. "On Earth, we have a story," Minho said, "about a bird in a golden cage. It was beautiful and sang for its master, but it was never free to fly." Hana left without looking back. In her chambers that night, Hana stood before a mirror. Her hand touched the golden collar around her neck. 20 years she had worn it, since she was 5 years old. "Computer," she said, "show me Earth's history. Their empires." Images filled the air around her. Ancient buildings made of stone, warriors on horses, great ships crossing oceans, cities rising and falling. Hana had visited 100 worlds but had never seen history like this. Empires that ruled millions, then crumbled to dust. New powers rising from the ashes of old ones. Always changing. The Dominion taught that change was weakness, stability was strength, For 10,000 years, nothing had changed in how they ruled. Her door slid open. A servant entered and bowed low. "The Emperor commands your presence, Princess." Hana followed the servant to her father's private chamber. Emperor Day stood looking at the same images of Earth's history that she had been studying. "You disappoint me, daughter," he said without turning around. "Father, Silence." He turned, his eyes cold. "I watch through your eyes. I hear through your ears. You listen to this human's foolish ideas instead of breaking him." "I will break him tomorrow," Hana said quickly. "I am learning his weaknesses." The Emperor walked to her and touched her collar. "No, you are showing weakness. I created you to be perfect. Without doubt. Without mercy." "Yes, Father. Tomorrow you will use the pain chamber. Maximum setting. If he does not break, you will begin removing parts of him. Fingers first. Then hands." Hana felt something twist inside her. She had tortured before, many times. Why did this order bother her now? "Do you understand?" the Emperor asked. "Yes, Father." He studied her face. "I sense conflict in you. This is unacceptable." He raised his hand to the control on his wrist. Pain exploded in Hana's head. Worse than before. So bad she couldn't stand. She fell to the floor, her body shaking. This time she couldn't hold back her screams. "Remember what you are," the Emperor said over her cries. "My weapon. Nothing more." When the pain finally stopped, Hana lay on the floor, tears on her face. The Emperor looked down at her with disgust. "Clean yourself up," he said. "You have one more day to break the human. Do not fail me again." After he left, Hana slowly pulled herself up. Her head pounded. Her throat hurt from screaming. For the first time she wondered what it would be like to not feel this pain, to not wear this collar, to be free, like the humans fought to be. Morning came too quickly. Hana stood outside the pain chamber, her face blank. Inside, guards were strapping Captain Minho to a metal table. The chamber was the Emperor's favorite tool. No one had ever endured its highest setting without breaking. Hana touched her golden collar. It felt heavier today. She had not slept. All night, Minho's words had mixed with her father's in her head. "We both serve something larger than ourselves. The difference is, I chose my path. Remember what you are. My weapon. Nothing more." The door opened. A guard bowed to her. "The prisoner is ready, Princess." Hana entered the room. The pain chamber was round with black walls. In the center was the metal table where Minho lay. Tubes and wires connected to his arms and head. He turned to look at her as she approached. "Last chance, human," Hana said, keeping her voice cold. "Tell me all of Earth's defense codes and your death will be quick." Minho studied her face. "Something has changed in you," he said quietly. Hana ignored his words. She walked to the control panel. Her hand hovered over the settings. She should turn it to maximum as her father ordered. Instead, she set it to level 1. The machine hummed. Minho's body tensed. His teeth clenched. Level 1 was like having your skin burned slowly. Most prisoners screamed. Minho did not. "Earth's northern defense grid," Hana said. "What are the access codes?" Minho looked at her through pain-filled eyes. "There are no codes." "You lie. We change systems daily. Codes from yesterday are useless today." Hana frowned. Was this true? It would explain why stolen codes never worked for long against Earth's defenses. She increased the setting to level 2. Minho's back arched. A small sound escaped his lips. "Your ships have a new weapon," Hana continued. "What is it?" Minho shook his head. He would not answer. Hana should go to level 3, then 4, then 5, all the way to 10 as her father ordered. Break this human who dared to resist. Instead, she turned the machine off. The sudden silence filled the room. Minho's breathing came in short gasps. He looked at her in surprise. "Why?" he asked. Hana didn't know the answer herself. She turned away from him, confused by her own actions. "Your father is watching," Minho said softly. "Isn't he?" At that moment, pain shot through Hana's collar. She stumbled, catching herself against the wall. The Emperor had seen her weakness. He was punishing her. Through the pain, she heard her father's voice in her ear implant. "Finish it, daughter. Maximum level, now." The pain increased. Hana fell to her knees, one hand grasping her collar. It felt like fire against her skin. She saw Minho pulling against his restraints, concern on his face. "Hana," he called. It was the first time he had used her name without princess before it. "Fight it." "I can't," she gasped. The collar was connected to her brain. Fighting it only made the pain worse. "You can," Minho said. "You're stronger than this. Stronger than him." The Emperor's voice came again. "Kill the human now, or I will kill you both." Hana forced herself to stand. The room spun around her. She walked to the control panel, her movements stiff. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Her hand moved to the level setting. The Emperor wanted maximum, level 10. No one survived level 10. She set it to level 3. More pain exploded in her head. She screamed and fell to the floor. The pain was worse than anything she had felt before. It felt like her brain was tearing apart. "Failure," the Emperor's voice said coldly. "I will finish this myself." Through blurry eyes, Hana saw the control panel light up. The settings moved by themselves. 4, 5, 6. The Emperor was controlling the machine remotely. Minho's body jerked on the table, his face twisted in agony. But still he made no sound. Hana watched in horror. 7, 8. The machine hummed louder. "Stop," she whispered. Then louder. "Stop." She forced herself to crawl to the control panel. The pain from her collar was so bad she could barely see. But she reached up and hit the emergency shutoff button. The machine went silent. The pain in Hana's collar stopped too, so suddenly that she gasped. "Princess Hana." The Emperor's voice was deadly quiet. "You have made your choice." The door to the pain chamber burst open. 6 royal guards rushed in, weapons raised. "Arrest the princess," their leader ordered. "The Emperor commands it." Hana's mind cleared. For the first time in her life, she had disobeyed a direct order. There was no going back now. With one smooth motion, she pulled a hidden knife from her boot and threw it. It hit the lead guard in the throat. Before the others could react, she was moving. Hana had been trained to fight since she could walk. The guards were good, but she was better. In seconds, 3 more were down. The last 2 fired their weapons. Energy blasts hit the wall where Hana had been a moment before. She flipped through the air, landing behind them. 2 quick strikes, and they fell. She ran to Minho and ripped off his restraints. "Can you walk?" she asked. Minho sat up, his face pale from pain. "I think so. What now?" "Now we run," Hana said. "The Emperor will send more guards." "Where can we go?" "The entire palace is his territory." Hana helped him stand. "I know a place. But first..." She looked at the fallen guards and went to the one who seemed closest to her size. "Change into his uniform. Quickly." While Minho changed, Hana went to a wall panel and pressed a hidden button. A small door opened, revealing a set of codes. "What are those?" Minho asked, pulling on the guard's helmet. "Access codes to the royal shuttle bay," Hana said, "and the override codes for my collar." Minho finished putting on the uniform and came to her side. "You can remove it?" Hana shook her head. "No, only the Emperor can remove it without killing me. But I can block his control for a few hours." She entered a long code. The collar beeped and its light changed from gold to blue. "He can't cause me pain now," she said. "But he can still track me, and in 6 hours the collar will reset." "Then we have 6 hours to escape," Minho said. Hana nodded. "Follow me. Try to look like you're escorting a prisoner." They left the pain chamber. Alarms were already sounding throughout the palace. Hana led Minho through back corridors and secret passages that only the royal family knew. "Why are you helping me?" Minho asked as they hurried down a dark hallway. Hana didn't slow down. "Because you were right. About me. About the collar." She touched it lightly. "I never chose my path, but today I did." They reached a small door at the end of a tunnel. Hana pressed her hand to the scanner. "What's behind there?" Minho asked. "The Royal Shuttle Bay," Hana said as the door slid open, "and our only chance of freedom." Behind them, they could hear the sound of many boots on metal. Guards were coming. Time was running out. Together? Minho held out his hand. For the first time in her life, Princess Hana smiled a real smile. She took his hand. Together. The Royal Shuttle Bay was huge and empty. Only 3 ships sat on the landing pads. They were small but fast, designed for the royal family to escape in an emergency. "Guards will be here any minute," Hana said, pulling Minho toward the nearest shuttle. "My father will have locked down the whole palace by now." They reached the shuttle and Hana pressed her hand against the door scanner. Nothing happened. "He's already blocked my access," she said, her voice tight. Minho looked at the scanner. "What about a higher authority? The Emperor's own code?" "Only he has that." "Not quite." Minho pulled off his glove. In his palm was a small, flat device. "I took this from the control room when you were fighting the guards. It records the last command signal used." Hana's eyes widened. "The Emperor used his code to control the pain chamber remotely." "Exactly." Minho placed the device against the scanner. The shuttle door slid open. They rushed inside. The ship was small but luxurious, with plush seats and golden controls. Hana went straight to the pilot's chair and began the launch sequence. "Do you know how to fly this?" Minho asked, sitting beside her. "I've flown every ship in the Dominion fleet," Hana said, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. "This one is the fastest." Alarms blared in the shuttle bay. Through the window they could see guards pouring in, weapons raised. "Too late," Hana said with a small smile. The shuttle engines roared to life. The ship lifted off the ground. The guards opened fire. Energy blasts hit the shuttle's shields, making them glow blue. "Hold on," Hana said. She pushed the controls forward. The shuttle shot across the bay and out into the open air above the capital city. "We made it," Minho said, looking back at the shrinking palace. "Not yet." Hana pointed to the ship's radar. 10 red dots were approaching fast. "Fighter ships, and look." On the main screen, Emperor Day's face appeared. His eyes burned with cold fury. "Daughter," he said, "this is your final chance. Return now, and your punishment will be survivable." Hana looked at her father's face. All her life she had feared him, obeyed him, killed for him. Now she saw him clearly for the first time. "No, father," she said. "I am not your weapon anymore." The Emperor's face hardened. "Then you die with the human. All ships, open fire." The screen went dark. The fighter ships were closing in. "Can we outrun them?" Minho asked. "Not in atmosphere," Hana said. "We need to reach space. Once there, we can jump to hyperspace." She pushed the shuttle to full speed. The city below became a blur. The fighter ships followed, firing constantly at their shields. "Shields at 60%. Minho read from the display. 50%. The blue sky above them grew darker. They were reaching the edge of the atmosphere. "Almost there," Hana said. The shuttle shook violently as another blast hit them. "Shields at 30%. The stars began to appear. Space was just moments away. Suddenly, the shuttle lurched sideways. A direct hit to one of the engines. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "We're hit," Minho shouted. "I can still make it," Hana said through gritted teeth. She fought with the controls, keeping the shuttle on course despite the damaged engine. The blackness of space surrounded them. They had made it out of the atmosphere, but the fighter ships were still close behind. "Preparing for hyperspace jump," Hana said. Her fingers flew over the navigation controls. "Setting course for Earth." Another hit rocked the shuttle. "Shields at 10%, Minho warned. "One more hit and we're done." Almost ready, Hana said. The hyperspace drive hummed louder. Just a few more seconds. The fighter ships closed in for the kill, their weapons locked on the damaged shuttle. At that moment, Hana's collar began to beep. The blue light turned red. No, she whispered. Not now. What is it? Minho asked. The collar override is failing, Hana said. Pain was already beginning to build in her head. My father is taking back control. The pain grew stronger. Hana's hands shook on the controls. The hyperspace coordinates began to blur before her eyes. Hold on, Minho said. He reached over and helped steady her hands. Almost there. The fighter ships fired. Their blasts streaked toward the shuttle. Now, Minho shouted. Hana hit the hyperspace button. The stars stretched into lines around them as the shuttle leaped into hyperspace, barely escaping the incoming fire. They had escaped. For now. Hana fell back in her chair, her body shaking with pain. The collar was glowing hot against her skin. He's still in my head, she gasped. When the collar fully resets, he'll take control or kill me. Minho knelt beside her chair. How long? Minutes, Hana said. The pain was getting worse. He'll force me to turn the ship around or shut down life support. There must be a way to stop it, Minho said. He examined the collar carefully. Every system has a weakness. Through the fog of pain, Hana remembered something. There is one way. My father once told me. The neural connection is fragile. A precise strike at the power junction might break it. Where exactly? Minho asked. Hana pointed to a small spot where the collar met her neck. There, but it has to be exactly right. Too hard, and it kills me. Too soft, and it does nothing. I can do it, Minho said. On Earth, I was known for precision. He looked around the shuttle and found a thin metal tool in an emergency kit. This should work. The pain was making it hard for Hana to stay conscious. The Emperor's voice was in her head now, ordering her to return to the palace. Hurry, she whispered. Minho positioned the tool carefully against the spot she had shown. Him. Ready? Hana nodded. Do it. Minho took a deep breath, steadied his hand, and struck. There was a small crack, a spark. Then the collar's light went out. For one terrible moment, Hana couldn't breathe. Her vision went black. Her body felt like ice. Then air rushed into her lungs. The pain was gone. The voice in her head was silent. She opened her eyes to see Minho, watching her anxiously. Hana? He said. She reached up and touched the collar. It was still around her neck, but it felt different. Lighter. Dead. It worked, she whispered. He's gone. I can't feel him anymore. For the first time in her life, her thoughts were truly her own. No one watching, no one listening, no one controlling. Hana looked at Minho, the human who had somehow freed her, with a single perfect strike. Thank you, she said. Minho smiled. What happens now? Hana turned to look out at the streaks of stars passing by. They were heading to Earth, but that was just the beginning. Now, she said, feeling something new growing inside her. Something that felt like hope. Now we fight back. My father controls thousands of worlds. They all wear invisible collars just like mine. She touched the dead collar around her neck. If we could free me, we can free them too. Minho nodded. Earth will help. We've been fighting for freedom since our beginning. The Dominion has ruled for 10,000 years, Hana said. But everything falls eventually, even empires. She smiled, using Minho's own words from days before. It felt good to smile. It felt good to choose. The shuttle raced through hyperspace, carrying a warrior princess and a human captain toward a new future. Behind them, the first cracks had appeared in an empire that had thought itself eternal, and it had started with a single strike that shattered chains no one thought could be broken.